A lot of people today, they are on a mission of finding that which is going to bring them that spiritual contentment that money can't buy. Many people are soul searching. One of the most common questions and queries that I get sent is, brother, please help. I'm spiritually dead, I'm spiritually empty. I'm not satisfied in my life, even though they have the glitters and the glamours of this world. However, they are still empty, brothers and sisters. They are depressed. I engage with multi-millionaires, brothers and sisters. Wallahi al-Azim. People who are filthy rich. They are not happy in their lives. They cry themselves to sleep. I get contacted on Instagram by individuals who have these blue ticks, verified accounts. You click on his profile and the man has everything you could think of that shabab and shabat, young people today crave. Cars, women, money, flashing around. Some of these guys are rappers, some of these guys are influencers. Right? However, start the conversation, and one of the first things that he sends is, you know that emoji, the yellow emoji with the tears? The man needs help. He's suffering. The way things were 10 years ago is not the same as how it is today. Right? The spirituality of the people is very, very different. A lot of us don't have our priorities straight. We are soul searching, confused, not knowing which direction to go in. The Quran is the solution, and inshallah ta'ala today I'm going to show you guys how this will put us in a much better place spiritually, that which we are crying out for, just to be content, just to be at peace. Right? This is the state of a lot of these multi-millionaires. A brother came up to me after the lecture that I gave in Edmonton Islamic Center. One of the points that I mentioned was, when you sin, it affects your provision. It affects your financial situation, guys. I think I talked about it last time around when I came to this masjid, right? When I went through some of the consequences and effects of sins. So he said to me, why is it that all of these kuffar, all these non-Muslims, right, they are living the life? They seem extremely happy. I was like, is that really the case? I gave you guys the example of all these footballers, Jim Carrey, some of these other very well-known celebrities. I always mention in my lectures, you guys probably heard it before, all these YouTubers that you see, Logan Paul, KSI, and Justin Bieber, add him onto there as well, right? Even the other guy called The Beast, Fusi Tube, who more than once came out to speak about his bipolar and his depression. Sahih? And then when he was recently interviewed just before his boxing match, look what he said. When they were asking him, how do you feel? He goes, I stopped watching pornography, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing zina, right? I don't take drugs anymore, and I'm staying on top of my salah, and I couldn't feel any better. And I could not feel any better. It's true, guys. The individual who came out more than once to announce his apostasy. Right? So the brother is saying to me, how come they all have this? They seem to be, doing well financially. When you spoke about in the lecture, that rizq, your provision gets affected when you sin. Because the Messenger ﷺ said, إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَا يُحْرَمُ الرِّزْقُ بِخَطِئَةٍ يَعْمَلُهَا. When you carry out the sin, you begin to lose your provision. It affects you. I said to him, that's not the only type of provision, because arzaq is of different types. I said to the brother, that spiritual contentment, is that something that can be bought with money, guys? No. Right? They may have the money, they may have nice cars, but spiritually he's dead. Malik ibn Dinar said, ما ضرب عبد بعقوبة أعظم من قسوة القلب. One has not been punished with anything more greater than a hardened heart. Look what they're doing, guys. They're drinking themselves to sleep. This is a footballer that we used to watch. And everyone used to talk about the power in his shots, right? However, you see him doing well on the football pitch, but then behind closed doors, he's crying himself to sleep, right? What we are chasing, my brothers and my sisters, is something that may well be revised before you end up having the same consequence. Compare this now to what happened to Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi. Ibn Taymiyyah, my brothers and my sisters, was imprisoned multiple times. Not Abu Taymiyyah, Ibn Taymiyyah. Passed away over 700 years ago. Multiple times, he actually died in prison. We tend to quote Ibn Taymiyyah a lot. His works were magnificent. Wallahi, absolutely amazing. I come across some of his statements that he uttered over 700 years ago, wallahi, would be the solution to some of the problems that we have today. Well, in fact, a lot of the problems. Allah Azza wa Jal gave him a dhaka. It is as if he's living amongst us with some of the advices that he's giving. Anyways, when he was in prison the last time round, قرأ ابن تيمية في سجنه 80 ختمة. He finished the Quran 8 times. And then the 81st time, فانتهى إلى قوله تعالى, the last verse that he uttered was when Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إن المتقين في جنات ونهر. Allahu Akbar. The muttaqeen, the pious, في جنات ونهر. They will be granted gardens and rivers. في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر. الله أكبر. They will have a station, right, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took his soul. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took his soul. Right. He is in solitary confinement, that's what they call it. Right? He's inside of solitary confinement. Right? However, he's reading the Quran, reading the Quran, reading the Quran, reading the Quran. Why? Because the Quran is giving him that peace and that contentment which cannot be bought with money. Compared to all of these guys who have spacious homes, who are filthy rich, who live lavish lifestyles. This man dies in prison, having recited the Quran 80 times and an 81th time, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَهَرٍ. This is the same individual who would say, مَا يَفْعَلُ أَعْدَائِ بِي. What can my enemies do to me? Right? What can my enemies do to me? If they kill me, I die as a martyr. If they exile me, it'll be siyaha. I'll go travel. Well, traveling has benefits, brothers and sisters. Right? Sometimes just, contemplating and reflecting on the scenery, Allah. And if they imprison me, khalwa, I'll be alone with Allah. To be in solitary confinement, he is looking at it as a blessing because of Allah, and I'm going to read Quran. It's an opportunity to busy myself with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal raises people because of the Quran. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَرْفَعُ بِهَذَا الْقُرْآنِ أَقْوَامًا وَيَضَعُ بِهِ آخَرِينَ. Allah raises people due to their relationship with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? It is the answer that we are looking for to a lot of our problems. If we just take a couple of verses, my brothers and my sisters, right? A couple of verses. All these multi-billionaires or millionaires, look how their problems could be solved so quickly. Allah says in the Quran, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. Whoever from the male and the female, they do good deeds, right? And they come with iman, we will give them a happy, satisfactory life. Allah says in the Quran also, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever turns away from my remembrance, I will give that individual a depressed life. I will give that individual a depressed life.